Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to the debut of my 2020 Senate model. Before I get into it, just remember to give the video some help, and if you're not already, subscribe. So, this model, I tried to simplify the whole modeling process and formula to make it easier to understand. As you can see, here's a formula here. So each state has a listed partisanship. If we scroll off to the side, it's right here, which is just the same as the presidential election. Because it's presidential election year, Senate elections are going to be more closely correlated with that. Still a little bit of variance, obviously. As a listed partisanship, as well as we'll factor in Donald Trump's approval rating, which is at the very bottom here, which I adjust manually based off of and it's the exact same one as in the presidential model. An economic factor, and there's also an incumbency factor, and this will help the incumbent office holder. This, along with the polling average, will determine the forecasted percentage. The three factors that go into the raw score are the state's polling average, the state's partisanship, which is total partisanship over 2 plus 50, and Donald Trump's approval rating nationally. For the Democrats, of course, you want to use Donald Trump's disapproval rating. Then I added in an economic and incumbency factor. The incumbency factor is plus or minus 1.3, depending on if a party has an incumbent in that state or if they are challenging. The incumbent gets 1.3, the challenger gets negative 1.3. If there's no incumbent, neither party gets any boost. This is based off of 538's calculation of incumbency benefit based on 2018, which is a total of a 2.6% net. And the reason I use those are they're the best figures I can find, though in the past incumbency has been a much more significant factor. While we wait for polls of the Senate races, I'm currently using the 2016 presidential election results as a dummy poll in order to have results show. And again, this because the presidential election and Senate elections are going to be much more correlated this year than they were in 2018. I will not use the generic ballot for this, as the Senate seats up for grabs skew more heavily towards the Republicans and the nation as a whole. And the generic ballot polling asks the entire nation. So that is how the model works. And you can find the polling averages on the second sheet in the model, as well as each individual state having its own page. So now let's take a look at what that looks like in map form. We have the same rating system that I use in my presidential model. Anything within 5% is the lightest color for tilt, such as Michigan or Georgia. Within 10% is leans. A good example is Virginia or Iowa. And anything within 15% is likely, such as Delaware and South Carolina. 15% or more is safe, and that would be, say, Massachusetts or Illinois or Oklahoma or Tennessee or Alabama. Obviously, this isn't a perfect map, but it definitely highlights the uphill battle the Democrats are facing in reclaiming the Senate. And looking at pickup opportunities, Michigan and Alabama look good for the Republicans. Alabama for obvious reasons, Michigan because of a strong challenger to Gary Peters, and that's John James. For the Democrats, strong pickup opportunities are Maine and Colorado. And Suzanne Collins is just losing her re-election bid, according to my model, with it being within 1%. Actually, well within 0.5%. A few states are closer than expected, Mississippi and Kansas being notable examples for the GOP. Rhode Island a good example for the Democrats. This model shows a net gain of 1 seat for the Democrats, who need 3 in order to win the Senate if they carry the White House, and 4 if they don't. If they win the presidency, they will need to find 2 more seats that can be flipped. North Carolina and Arizona seem the most likely pickups, along with Iowa, making those the 4 they would need on top of Maine and Colorado, assuming Doug Jones in Alabama does not hold the seat, which is a likely outcome as of right now. If he does hold his seat, the Democrats can afford to lose one of the aforementioned seats. Republicans can expand their majority by holding Colorado and Maine, as well as flipping Alabama. And if they get some small fortuitous bumps, it's not impossible they pick off Minnesota and Michigan, and there is an outside shot of ousting Mark Warner in Virginia. However, those 3 races will be extremely difficult, and if they were to flip those 3 plus Alabama, they would get to 57 seats, which would all but protect their majority through 2030. Anyway, the links for all of my models and my Patreon will be in the description. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.